Yo, what up? It is Mondo here with Full Thing Creations with the Facebook uh, group and Get Mad at It TV YouTube channel and Houston H Town Haps podcast. And I am here with Miss Shay Sparks. Howdy, what's up?
Hello,
My
hello.
my co-host for the TV show companion Love is Blind, episode 2 and 3. We put it together, and if you like that show, cool. If you don't, that's still cool with me. But I really picked this show to. Well, we both picked the show to kind of like highlight interesting things about it, how people fall in love without even seeing each other's physical features, only their sounds of their voice and their personalities or lack thereof. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's and Shay, we were talking about the weather here in Houston. Um, yeah, it's been crazy. It's not as crazy as down south Texas, but yeah, it's been raining off and on today, but yesterday was more on than off. I was able to get a 2 hour training ride in, and you can see my bicycles in the background. Got 2 hours yesterday, and I got caught in a rainstorm, of course. And then today was clear. I got out about 8 o'clock, about 7:45, 8. It was sunny. It was hot, humid, everything you expect with Houston weather. And then actually it was overcast with the weather, which made it bearable and windy and cool altogether. So it was good. I stopped into it's called the Heights Mercantile Market in the area that I was at, and I had to pull over. I was running out of water, and they shut off the water spouts along the pathway because of this whole pandemic, which is like, I understand it, I get it, but like people are still outside and running,
Right.
and yeah, they're using water fountains, blah blah blah, but people can get dehydrated out there. So like emergency water should be available. I don't know. So
I agree. They can use your shirt. Use your shirt to touch it or something. I don't know. Wash your
yeah,
hands later. I mean, how are you going to wash your hands?
it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it pulled into the Heights Mercantile, and they were selling this like fancy cold pressed juice for $7.
Ooh.
But it was good. It was like this turmeric cold pressed juice, and then
Nice.
I bought a snow cone, which was so good, and then went back on my journey to finish
Awesome.
my 3 hour ride. So, what about you? How's your week been?
Good. Very busy. I bought a sauna.
Whoa. Heck
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I bought a lawn chair or something. It's like
Yeah.
bought a sauna. How
Yeah.
did you fit? Are you fitting it into like a section of your home or something? Or
So they have a sauna that looks like an oversized sleeping bag.
okay, okay.
It's for one person. It's not the kind that it's the room that you walk in and you sit down. It's not like that. It's literally like a big oversized um, yoga mat that you get down and lay on. And then this igloo type sleeping bag comes over you. And it
Oh,
gets up to like 150 degrees.
oh,
And
nice.
so I did that last night and today. And then today, after I did it, I did some yoga. So I was kind of like hot yoga because I was hot. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah. Yeah. So that's
Good.
my win awesomeness for the week. Otherwise, just busy, busy, busy.
What's that? Can you repeat that? It cut off.
I
Or
said that's been my awesomeness for the week was that
Mm,
sauna. Otherwise, it's just been busy, busy, busy.
God, I love the sauna. I miss it
Yes.
at the gym. It's just like after you work out, I mean, it's just feels so good. And when you lay in it, is it like cushion?
Oh
Does it
yeah.
feel comfortable? It's just like you're laying on a bed of feathers or something, and it's like super comfortable.
Yes. Yes. No, I don't know about feathers, but yes. It's definitely comfortable. It's literally like this thick. So it's not like a little yoga mat. It's like a thick pad that you lay a mattress, a little tiny mattress, like a foam mattress. And
Yeah,
then literally this igloo type thing you just goes over you. It's phenomenal.
dude, that's
So
awesome.
yeah,
I'm
very
happy for
excited.
you. Good for you. That's
Thanks.
awesome.
Thanks. I'm glad to hear you're safe and sound and not in the
Yes.
thick of it yet. So hopefully it stays like that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Houston had our share of hurricane and tropical storms that could last us another 500 years from our
Right.
last 500-year storm,
Right.
Hurricane Harvey. Oh my God, it was crazy. I actually went on a rescue mission
Mm.
during the storm after all the rain and everything flooded. It was like the fourth day. And I had a bunch. Well, I have a bunch of friends that were like trying to get out, and their parents are trying to get out. And the Coast Guard had a bunch of people, you know, that they were gonna get out of their homes. And then, but they didn't allow pets or any animals on the rescue boats or whatever. So a friend of mine, she's like, "Hey, can you come by and try to get some help somehow?" I'm like, "Sure." I was like, "What do I do?" And so I just like drove around, and I found this guy with like one of those red. It looks like a rescue river raft, pretty much. It was red. It had had a little motor, and I flagged him down. I was like, "Hey, dude, like, where are you taking that thing?" He's like, "I don't know. I'm just taking it out to see if people need it." I was like, "All right, follow me." You were going to this place about 20 minutes away, and my friend's parents are like standing in water. Like, we gotta do something. He's like, "All right, cool, let's go." So like we drove all around the area, and like it was flooded up and down, and finally we got maybe 3 miles away from our parents' home, and everything was flooded, like
Wow.
up to the street. And then like we finally we backed it up into the water, into one of the main streets. I parked my car. I had a Jeep at the time, high on ground. And then like we just pushed it in the water on the main streets. And then we motored our way up into the neighborhood. And then one of the streets crested the water. So we had to like drag it across the damn streets.
Wow.
And yeah, it was just nuts. And so we had to like motor through this like the neighborhood, and the only way we can get through was a fence. And so like it was kind of partly broken. It was like this, it was like a V shape. And then finally I went up to it, and I was just like pulling the hell out of it. Finally broke it with the weight of the water and my muscles here. See that? I don't know if you can see the muscles.
Wow.
Yeah, see that?
Ah.
Yeah. So but yeah, I mean, you got to have muscles to break fences. That's my claim to muscular fame or whatever.
Sure.
But so broke the fence, went through the neighborhood, and like it was so eerie. So like as soon as we motored into the neighborhood, all we heard were like cries of, "Hey, we need help. Hey, come over here. We need you to like come get us out of here." And like people were yelling through their second story. Like It was insane. Oh yeah, I forgot the best part. So before we dragged it into the water, we hyped ourselves up. We're like, "Are you ready to do this? Yeah, are you ready? Let's just go." Like I felt like I was, I don't know, Sylvester Stallone, and the other guy was like Jean-Claude Van Damme or something like that. Like, yeah. So
awesome.
So yeah, it was intense. And I mean, so I felt like it was like out of a Rambo type like clip. And so we got into the neighborhood, and then we heard all these people were like, "Hey, we have to get my friend's parents. They're out first on the list. We got to get them out, and then we'll come back." And so like I put my phone, like I was still in contact with her. So she finally gave me an update after like 20 minutes of trying to get through the streets. She said, "Hey, the Coast Guard picked her up. Don't worry about it. Go do whatever you need to do." I was like, "All right, cool." So like we went back to that first spot, picked up like 6-7 people, plus their dogs.
Yeah.
And their dogs can't be like lap dogs. They got to be these big ass like Great Danes. And the first thing they like asked us, they're like, "Can we bring your dogs?" Like, yeah, bring your dogs. And I was like, "But bring minimal luggage."
Out.
Yeah. And the dog's like freaking out. What the hell? But yeah, so we get like 6 or 7 people out, plus like 4, like, I don't know, Labrador sized dogs. And then so we did like 4 rounds, and each round took like 25 minutes. So we dropped them off, we went back in, we got like 6-7 more people out, dropped them off, back and forth. and I had my dog like kenneled in my place. I was like, and I just found him on the street about 3 months. So I didn't know if he was able to be in there for 3 hours or 6 hours, you know? So I was like, hey, and this was after hour 5. And I was like, hey, I think I got to go home because my dog's in the kennel and I got to get him out. I don't know what's going to happen. He's like, yeah, that's cool, man. And some other guy jumped in the Wrath with him to help him. Like, he was motoring and then he was having people in the boat. The other guy was so it was a pretty cool experience. Like just getting those people out of their, homes onto safety, onto land. And so I got a couple cool like action shots of us, loading people on the boat and stuff like that. So
you're such a hero.
Yep, I am. Without these muscles, I don't know where I'd be today. No, I'm just kidding. But
well, I want to state about the dogs. So I'm here in Kansas City for several hours from Houston, obviously. And we had several shelters go down there and literally just get dogs and keep them or find them foster homes for people to either come back for their dogs or be able to, adopt them out again. So kudos to you for being such a hero in the middle of Hurricane Harvey.
Thank you. It was an experience. I really wanted to help people and just like get them to safety and, so no more. I don't know how many people drowned or got hurt, but yeah, it was just a very bad time, in the city. And so now, but I was glad to be part of the rescue mission, I guess. So, but the main reason why we're meeting again on the TV companion show is to talk about episode 2 and 3. And so first I just want to say what up, Oziel. He said back on the live stream, and yeah, man, he's a good guy. So happy to have you. And so,
well, it's because of him is how we got connected. So
yeah,
thanks for being here, Oziel.
Definitely, for sure. It's awesome. So episode 2 and 3 got pretty deep in the in those episodes. What would you take from episode 2 and 3? I'm kind of like reviewing my notes just because I remember most of the names and the couples that like I don't know, predicted that we're gonna end up together, but then they like do some curveballs at the show and like so but yeah.
Well, first of all, I think at the beginning Cameron and Lauren got to meet each other because he had proposed the episode 1. And it was like, oh, there's a mental note. So I want to share with the audience for all the ladies in the audience who are single that are having a man, like watch a man walk to them. Cameron had a little pep in his step. In fact, he did a little hop. So that's a sign, ladies. If you have a man walking towards you and he puts a little hop in there, he's definitely into you.
Yes, definitely. I can agree.
And what's funny, I think every single guy did that. And then some of them just took off running, right?
Yeah. It's like, dude, like, relax. She's going to be there the next 5 seconds. But yeah, yeah, definitely. They're just excited. But like, yeah, that was something else I noticed too about the dudes like almost running to the girl. It's like, okay, give them some pause or whatever. But yeah, they're so eager to kind of meet each other. But yeah, so Lauren and Cameron, that was a done deal. Like, yes, I think
for sure
they were done with like the other dudes, and I think they're definitely. I think we established they're a really good fit with each other, and
well, it was our favorite couple. Like if we had
that's right.
Lauren and Cameron, so of course that they're together. But yes, absolutely, it was our favorite.
Why is it our favorite couple? I mean, what is it about them that was like maybe you can see in other people or like different other relationships, like your friends having a, if your girlfriend or guy friend's like, hey, I want this, and this, but you see it in Lauren and Cameron's relationship. So like
Hmm.
why is there the best fit out of all the couples, or you can see him go farther?
I think one, because I think we had discussed last time about episode one, they really just dived in deep to their conversations right off the bat and was able
Oh,
to
that's
be
right.
really vulnerable with each other. And I think at one time they both were tearing up. Yeah, because Cameron's mom has Parkinson's. Is that correct? I think
Yes.
that's it. Yes.
Yeah.
And, the fact that he shared that, and then Lauren teared up and he teared up, and it was like, and again, it could have been all editing, but it was just a really heartfelt moment, I think, between them.
Yeah.
Which, again, if you can build that relationship, which is what we're doing inside these pods, you can build that relationship and that connection and really get transparent and vulnerable with each other. I think that you build from there.
Yeah. No, I think that you nailed it pretty good. It's like they were able to be vulnerable with each other, and not really waste time in the BS and like small talk, and just
Right.
kind of like small talk, but like in a deep type of way, I guess, if that makes sense. And I guess cut to the chase.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long they were slated to be in those pods, but it's like, okay, you have 30 minutes. We need the best out of
Yeah.
you in 30 minutes. It's like, I'm sure there's so many edits out of those like pod times, I guess. So
Yeah, I always wondered
um,
that too. Like, were they in there for hours on end, or just a few hours, or an hour, 20, like you said, 30 minutes? Who knows?
yeah. And I think like Cameron was super chill. I felt like he was calm.
Mm-hmm.
He took his time speaking, and uh, he didn't say any like weird sexual innuendos or anything, and like be awkward. And he was, because a lot of dudes can like say weird things like that, and
No, I don't believe it. I mean,
um,
nobody's ever said anything like that to me.
yeah. So I think it could be a lesson to like other guys out there. It's like, hey, be respectful, be a gentleman, but like take your time, be patient. Not that I'm like a approach expert guy or anything like that, but like it seems to like work for him, I guess, right?
Well,
And
yeah,
so
because sorry to interrupt you. When
no,
we see the next, a couple people down the way was Carlton and Diamond, and you,
yes.
right, and you see where he is struggling internally,
Yeah.
with his challenge, we'll say, and he's not sharing it, and so it continues to get awkward in episode 2, and even more awkward in episode 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I don't so Diamond,
Yeah.
so that's like on the other side of the spectrum, because like
Right. Yes.
I mean, so Diamond's complaint against Barnett, and the women were like talking about all the guys, and and I think Jessica or Amber is right. Amber is the other
Yep.
one, and
Yep.
Elsie, or is it
Yep.
LJ?
Elsie.
Elsie. Okay, so those are the three chicks that Barnett is like flipping in his head, right?
Mhm.
And so like one of the girls is talking to Diamond, and she's all like, well, I talked to him, he's so disrespectful, blah blah blah. Like he said my name, Diamond sounds like a strip club name or stripper's name or whatever. And then it's just like the other girls is like, well, he was just kidding, just trying to get a laugh. I mean, he's not gonna be like blunt out like disrespectful towards somebody. And and he said it in a funny, joking way. He wasn't like mean about it. And then Carlton and Diamond were like kind of playing around, kind of in a I wouldn't say sexual manner, but like in a flirty, kind of borderline disrespectful way. It's like these are kind of things you don't really want to talk about on like first dates, let alone like marriage type conversations or whatever. But and then so she let him slide, but she didn't let Barnett slide, and she's complaining about Barnett, blah blah blah. And it's like, man, this double standard here, you know. But I don't know. I mean,
well, can I speak to that for a second?
sure.
Because as women, I think, and I'm not speaking for all women, but definitely me, and some women that are my friends, I think once a man kind of, you either like them, and once they disrespect you, you're just done. Like, that's it, I'm out. Or you want to take it as disrespect and use that as an excuse to get out.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So maybe that's what she was doing. So with Carlton, she was like, oh, well, you know, we seem to be vibing more and I'll let this slide. But, you know, she let it slide for so long. And then as we see in episode 3, she doesn't let it slide anymore.
Yeah. So I thought they got along in the pod like super well. And I thought that Carlton, like held a lot of things back, of course, until after they finally meet, and then they're hanging out. Episode 3, after the second one, they get to meet, and then now they're like hanging out in a hotel. They're having this like romantic, intimate dinner, and they're just like kind of all lovey-dovey. Then that's when like onion peels start to come out, right?
Yeah.
And that's when like things start to come out of the surface that's been sitting there. And in Carlton's case, I feel well, I feel that I think he did say that in the pod that he did date both genders, or is it not until the 3rd episode?
You know, I was trying to remember that too, and I think he told it to the audience. I don't know if he told it to her.
Yeah.
Because by her reaction in episode 3, I don't think he had told it to her.
Yeah, because I think she would have the same reaction in the pod, and
I think she would have been done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been cutthroat right there. It's like,
yeah.
So I think he should have shared that in the beginning, you know.
Yeah.
He really messed her up on the show for like not letting her meet other guys, you know, and just kind of like ruin her experience. And that's a big deal. I mean, so it's a big deal, but it's not, like, because if he's over it, then it should not be a big deal, right? And in episode 3, we really don't know if he's over it or not.
Right.
And because he's like, all he said was, I've dated both genders. And he never was like, and I am over it, or I'm not over it, or I'm kind of over it, blah, blah, blah. You know, so he never really said he was over it. And so, but the thing is, what ruined the whole situation was he really blew up. Like, he overreacted.
Yes.
Like, in a, I don't know, psycho way. Like, in a very,
yes,
I don't know, just just stabbed their relationship and like blew all the air out. It's just, and if he would have been like, yeah, I've dated both genders, this is my past. If he would reacted like normally and calm and collective to make her feel comfortable, I think everything would have been fine, right? What do you think?
I agree. I completely agree. And, you know, I think part of the thing that I had the issue with is that, you know, you see in episode 2 is that they're both like, we're so good to each other. We're so safe with each other. Because I wrote this down. Like, they're both saying how much they feel safe with the other person. And then you see cut to him talking within the monologue that he has this big secret that he has to reveal. But yet you're telling her how safe you are. So it's almost as if it would have come up in a way where he would have just gotten over that uncomfortable in his own skin is really what he is. He's uncomfortable with it in himself. And if he would have just stepped into self-acceptance and accepted himself for just a second and said, hey, this is my past. This is what I've done. This is not who I am anymore. Are you still in this? I think I think the whole story would have been completely different. I think it's because he had created this expectation of potential of who he was. And then boom, he's like, oh, and by the way, this is what I did. And it's like, what? I can't trust you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that like, well, no, I definitely agree with that. I don't know about the I can't trust you part. Did he lie to her?
Well, I think that's where she's coming from.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
saying that. I think that's where she's coming from is that, well, if you didn't tell me about this when we had shared so much in the pod, what else? And it escalated because then he reacted to that.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily if she said, I can't trust you, but I felt like it was something like that. And then he escalated and took it to a whole nother, his anger went whoo,
Yeah.
roof.
Yeah.
And yes, you said the word psycho. Yeah, that's kind of what he did. He went psycho.
Yeah.
And then she went psycho. I mean, she's not as guilty as he is too. And the two of them together, it's like, well, if you can't come together and disagree in in a conversation, how is that's leading to disaster immediately in your relationship? So I think it was
Right.
smart for them to call it off.
Yeah. I just think he handled it very poorly. He was very unstable. Like he just had that crazy look in his eye, and the way his mannerisms were, it's like he's very aggressive, like
Mhm.
physically. Other
Mhm.
than like the regular verbal aggressive, we're talking about he's like throwing his hat off. He's like making these like sharp movements with his arms, like he's gonna hit her or hit something.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's just very disturbing to see that, and so, but I think like you say, he's not comfortable in his own skin. He's not over the fact that, I guess he dated both genders. I mean, if that's what you are, that's who you are, fine. But just know before asking someone to marry you of the opposite gender, right?
Right.
Like that's not cool. That's not like, good leading somebody on into a marriage situation. Um, I
Yeah.
kind of personally ran into this about 2 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. So when I saw this episode, I was like, oh, this girl I met, like, so I dated a girl like 2 years ago. I'm not gonna name her name, but Jessica. Just kidding. Her name's not Jessica.
I knew you were going to do that. I just knew it.
Not gonna name her name, Jessica. This is on the internet, right? It's not on the internet. No one's
Her name
gonna.
is Tiffany. No, I'm just kidding.
Hold on, hold on. Her name's not Tiffany. Tiffany. No, but so I'm I met this cute little girl, like spinner looking girl, like blonde, great, like super fit. So we started dating for like 3 months. And then I don't remember if she told me before or no, okay, so she definitely told me before I made her my girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah. No marriage proposal. No. We're not girlfriend. I was like, hey, I like you. Like, let's make this exclusive. And she's
Yeah.
like, well, okay. So we had the conversation and she brought it up. She's like, so in college, I messed around with other women. I actually had a relationship with a woman, but it like became abusive and verbally and physically, and so I had to like stop it, and she, that was it, and didn't go back into a relationship, and then that's when I just started dating guys after that bad relationship, and then that's when I met you. And so I was like, oh, wow. Like there's 17 million thoughts, red flags in my head.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, okay. All right. And I wasn't upset. I mean, nothing. Well, I was upset for her because she was in an abusive relationship, but like I didn't know the whole story. And so I was like, okay, well, are you over it? Is this something you were kind of like done with, or is it like you may tiptoe it into next year or two or see what happens? And she's like, no, I'm completely done with that phase of my life. I want to date you. I want to see where this goes. You're great, every blah blah blah. I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yes. I was like, okay, because you know, I before kind of during when you said that like, you know, you're done with dating women or having feelings for other women, like I in the back of my head's thinking you may want to date other women. And she's like, no, 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 no. You're kind of pissing me off now. I'm telling you, I don't want to date other women. I want to date you. I'm done with that. And I was like, all right, cool. So made her my girlfriend. We're probably 2 months in, 3 months in. We go to a party and we get kind of sauced. And there's this woman and she has a boyfriend. This other girl has a boyfriend. We're hanging out. I mean, the conversation is just vibing. It's a really good conversation. Her boyfriend's really cool. We're hanging out, shooting the shit. And then all of a sudden, I see my girlfriend make out with this guy's girlfriend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I saw it in the corner of my eye, and I kind of like heard bits and pieces of the conversation. And there were 3 girls sitting on the couch, and I'm like, me and one of the girls' boyfriend, we're hanging out talking, and I see my girlfriend at the time try to kiss this other girl, and she just like pulls away. She's like, no, 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 like kind of like joking, no, this is not who I am, blah blah blah. So then she goes, okay. So she goes to the other girl sitting, she's in the middle, other girl sitting beside her, pulls her head in, makes out with her full on,
wow,
tongue and everything. And I go, Jennifer. No, his name's not Jennifer, but what are you doing? No, his name's not Jennifer, but I was like, I think I'm gonna get sued after this, but no. But yeah.
Lindsay.
So I'm like, what's that?
I said Lindsay. Her name was Lindsay.
Yeah,
No,
Lindsay.
Jessica.
And so
Tiffany.
I was like,
Jennifer.
what are you doing, Jane Doe? Like, and then I didn't. Well, actually, I didn't say anything. I looked at it, and inside I was like, what are you doing? I didn't make it a big deal, and I didn't want to be like that guy to like storm out of the room and, you know, be weird. And so I just looked at it, and then I just went back to talking to the guy. And then at the end of the night, we all, you know, parted ways and say, oh, bye, bye, bye. And then she didn't say a word about it. Like, I think she just forgot.
Wow.
That's how sauced. I think that's how sauced she was. And so we're, you know, coming home, and I was like, so how do you think the night went? That kind of conversation. And she's like, I think
I had a great time.
Yeah. I
had a great time.
I was like, yeah, did you get to know so-and-so's boyfriend really well? I was like, yeah, he's a cool guy. We're going to, you know, go shoot the shit next week or 2, you know? But I saw you make out with his girlfriend on the couch. What's up with that? And she's like, oh, yeah, about that. And I'm like, so you didn't think it was a big deal? Like, what about a conversation we had before we entered an exclusive relationship? Like, now you're giving me these other red flags that I put to rest ahead of time. And then like you're bringing it back into my relationship with you. And now what am I going to think if you go out without me and you're possibly may make out with other women or men at that matter? Cause I think like cheating is cheating. A man, woman, it's like, you're not with your significant other, and you know, and she got so like she was upset at herself for doing it because she was sauced and like she was under the influence. And I was like, I think I'm gonna call you a cab, and I really think I need to stay by myself tonight. And she's like, no, I want to stay here. I'm like, no. I was like, I didn't want to like be. I just needed time for myself to like think about the whole situation, I guess. You know, it's like, should I just like not worry about it and look like a pushover? Should I just, you know, blow it off? Should I brought it up, and then now what do I do? Because I've never been in this situation. And so, and it's just so many dynamics going on. And so I was just like, well, let me think about this. Something way new. Came out of left field. And she was all about like, no, I want to stay with you tonight. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Yeah. This was like a 30-minute please forgive me conversation. And I was like, this has opened up another fear that I had beginning this relationship with you. And now you reopened it. And now I don't know what else to think. So I just want to like stay by myself tonight and then, get back with you when I feel better. And she's like, I definitely understand. So, so we got over it. We got over that part.
And now you're in a threesome? No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Or foursome, whatever.
Yeah. No. I would probably get arrested if that happens. Yeah. No. But yeah, that like reminded me about that situation. I'm like, God.
Sure.
So I kind of like feel how Diamond felt learning about Carlton's like,
right.
Sexual orientation, whatever he had. But the thing is, they never talked about it. They never.
Right.
All it was is, this is what I did. And then he got so upset. I didn't know if it was upset at himself or at her. It was just a situation. It's like, dude, okay, you can't be upset at her. She really didn't say anything to piss him off. It was like, hey, this is what I did. And I would be upset for her, saying, you should have told me this shit like in the beginning to know, I should have moved on from you, or let's talk about it and iron it out because I really like you, or let's just move on, And so, so I kind of related to that. And I mean, I think if he wasn't as verbally abusive or verbally aggressive with her, I think, and he was like being very chauvinistic and egotistical because he was like, I'm gonna have you wear this, or like Carlton's my man, like weird stupid shit like that. And it's like, dude, you're being you're being everything that a woman complains about, right?
Right. Like, but I want to jump in there because you said something about red flags, right? In your own relationship. And the thing with them is that, I mean, they're sitting there having dessert, basically chocolate covered strawberries. And he's, like you said, being chauvinistic, being extremely controlling in his words, possessive, demanding, and then almost criticizing her at some point. And so it was like, okay, honey, those are red flags. Why aren't you paying attention? Yeah. And then, comes the blow up, and the blow up is really because he continued to say it before. I'm scared of being rejected because I've been rejected before. So what he's doing is rejecting people first.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So that's literally what he's doing. That's why he waited, because he's just like, well, then he can continue to play that story in his head that I'm not good enough, that everyone rejects me because I'm fluid. And there's proof. Look, it happened again. Once again. There we go.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. And from Diamond's point of view, unfortunately, those little red flags totally added up, and she kind of missed it. Although it was interesting. She caught on at first, and we called him out on it. And then he was like, no, I'm just joking. And then she kind of took it as jokes. And I'm thinking, that's not a joke.
Yeah.
He's not joking right there. And she just kind of went with it. So kudos to her for lasting as long as she did, to be honest.
Yeah. That's it. He was being like just mean and like just out
totally
of line
disrespectful.
With, is like, yeah. And I know what he was doing. He was, well, first of all, he's insecure, but like I knew what he was doing is like trying to be negative towards her to make him look better, I guess.
Well, right.
To make him look, to make him look like the man, I guess.
Absolutely. And to make himself feel better. So it's, he can blame her and not take responsibility for himself, which is what narcissists do. So hopefully she dodged a huge bullet there. And I want to say, Mondo, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Oh, you're welcome.
I know it's not easy to share stories sometimes. And I'm sure Jessica, Lynn, and Tiffany, whatever her name is,
Yeah.
is not watching. And if she is, it's okay. We're not talking about you.
Yeah, no, it was a very different setup, and but like, I guess cheating is cheating, if guy, girl, whatever. Like, I never had that. And I never really had a girl like cheat on me and then know about it and or not know about it. And at the end, she's like, hey, by the way, I was unfaithful. We're not together anymore, but this is what happened. Like, that's a situation. So
Yeah.
I never
good
knew
for
about
you
it. So
for knowing your boundaries of what you will accept and won't accept. So good for you.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So we're done with Cameron Lauren, and we're done with Diamond and Carlton. And so who we
Kelly
have
and
left?
Kenny, the conservative.
Oh, yes.
The conservative who dresses like a non-conservative.
Yes. She is like, making herself out to be like a church girl, Catholic school girl, whatever. And then in every scene, she's wearing a two-piece anything.
Or really low cut. Yeah.
Really low cut, short skirt. And I'm just like, wow, she is hot. Like, she does nothing she's saying is reflecting her wardrobe options or her choice. But
true.
whatever. It's, I guess thinks she's progressive but conservative at the same time. But I think were they kind of dry to me? I mean, were they kind of like boring? Not boring, but like it was kind of like
So they were back when they were in the pods before he engaged and proposed. I caught something that they shared a moment of. Basically, the moment was over. Their commonality was over this favorite childhood book. And they both were like, oh my gosh, it's so meaningful to them and blah, 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 blah. And I just want to say how that can be, and I'm using the word trauma, but it's not that particular thing isn't a trauma, but in the real world, how many relationships come together because they share a trauma. Sometimes people who have gone through an abusive relationship and another abusive relationship, and then they meet. So then they talk about that thing all the time. Maybe it was addiction, and an addict and an addict, and now they're both sober, and they talk about how they were drunk all the time, right? Or they're using all the time. So they use that as a commonality, as a thread to keep them together. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of what I saw with them, that they didn't really go deep and vulnerable and have the connection again, like we compare everybody to Lauren and Cameron, but they just were like, oh yeah, and I did that too. Oh yeah, me. And oh yeah, that's me. And it was just like this connection of, well, yeah, we have pretty much the same shit that we've gone through. So we might as well just get together because we understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, well, I'm low fashioned. Times has changed, but I think he should have took the lead in that. I felt like he just kind of like stood back and just like let her do this, and this. I also kind of spaced out during their pod. So to be honest, I was like scrolling through my phone. It was one of those like instances. And then I was like, oh shit, I gotta like pay attention. But like, it was nothing earth shattering. I just didn't feel that, what's his name again? Yeah.
Kenny.
Yeah. Kenny and Kelly.
He's a very, the only word that comes to mind is aloof, meaning he's like a very standoffish kind of person and not really like outgoing and knows how to be in his full masculine power. We'll say it that way. Does that make sense? Hello?
Can you say that again? I lost you. Okay, There you go. There you are. Hey-o.
He, of course, what did I say? He's kind of aloof.
Aloof, yeah.
Aloof, and he's not really standing in his own masculine power.
Yes, yeah.
Right? He's just kind of like you said, he's letting her take the lead. He's not stepping up and saying what it is that he wants, what he needs. He's literally listening to her and going, yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. And it's like, okay, but you're not taking your personal power at that
Yeah.
time, now of course we know later he does, but at that time it's like, this isn't working.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's his personal power, his own things that he wants in a relationship. And I never heard that. It was like, yeah, like you're saying, like commonalities, this and that. Like friends do that,
Right. Right.
like friends do that while walking down the street. Like, oh, I do this, I feel like that the same way. Blah blah blah. Okay, we're
Right.
best friends now, instead of like being more vulnerable in that. So, yeah. So we'll see. I mean, they definitely have a lot of growing to do in the next couple episodes after that. So we have what other ones do we have before we get into Barnett?
Oh, what is her name? Giannina,
Yes.
Giannina and Damien.
That's right. Yes.
Yes.
So we don't even get to know about Giannina until like the second episode.
Well, right. And we don't really, I think we see her personality more in the third episode.
Yes.
Than in the second. Yeah.
God. Oh, no, I saw her personality in the second episode, to be honest.
And what is her personality, Mondo? Please share with us.
Like a little sister brat, like I just want to like you're the babysitter and you're babysitting a kid. Like to me,
spoiled.
That spoiled brat, like
yeah.
I want my binky, like give it to me now. Like you remember that movie Charlie and Chocolate Factory with Gene Wilder?
Yeah.
Veronica Blue, the girl that got blew up by a blueberry.
Yeah.
Veronica, whatever her name is. Yeah, she reminds me of her. Like,
yes,
it's just so. I like her story. I like the backstory of her.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Venezuela. I don't know if she was born there or born here in the States. She talked about like her background, her family history. She taught herself English, so she she's bilingual, which is cool. And so I like that part. But I just like it's just something about it. It wasn't something she just said. Just her attitude was like, I want it and I want it now.
Now.
Like, yeah. And like, why are you acting like this? And and Damien is super cool, super nice. Like, but he seems like he's very standoffish, but to me, he seems like a little bit of a pushover.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? She's completely alpha, right? So he's got to be the beta where he just kind of stands back like, okay. I think the same thing happened with Kelly and Kenny too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then go ahead.
Sorry. No.
Well, I was going to say, so, and then he proposes and she's like, no.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to propose.
Yeah. She turned it around. So she's like trying to control the love ship as,
mm-hmm.
But I thought, so I thought that was cool. Like she did that. She wanted it to be different. But then the way she like talked about it, she was like, no, I'm in control.
Uh-huh.
It was that kind of like demeanor. It's like, I'm in control. I'm going to be doing this, so I want to ask you if and so that's, I mean, I thought she meant well, but I didn't I don't know. I just didn't get a good vibe from her. And like, again, I just thought she was such a brat, like I want it and I want it now attitude. And he's like, okay, confrontational and, okay, great. Yeah. He's a beta male. Which again, I think he should just lay down the rules. This is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. Maybe he likes girls that are bratty. Maybe he likes girls that, he'll give the world to plus a diamond ring, and
then not treat him nicely.
What's that? I'm sorry.
And then treat him, demand, things from him. Maybe he likes that to be demanded from. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but. So in like this third episode is when we really see her personality, and she's throwing out like things such as like, I haven't had it in like 4 years or something,
Yeah. Yep.
And it's like it's so cringeworthy. It's like, why are you talking about like it's like awkward. I feel like my parents are in the room and there's like a sex scene. Like it was such a awkward conversation. I'm like,
well, and what was even more awkward about it is that she's like, yeah, I had to get into the ocean, so something could slap my butt for a while. The waves.
yeah.
It's like, what? How did that make any sense?
Yeah, that was weird.
So I'll share a personal story. Mine is definitely longer than 4 years, but I'm not going to get in an ocean just to slap my ass. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's so. Yeah, that was, and he's just like, he's was trying to be a gentleman. He's like trying to push the brakes on it, on that whole conversation while like having dinner on the patio and stuff. And I thought that was kind of cool for him to do that. But of course, they probably did the dirty. But
yeah, what's funny is that I see this person in the background, like taking their food away. And all I kept thinking is, what is that person thinking?
Yeah. Oh, he's probably seen worse. Okay.
That's true.
This
That's
is
very true.
This is Cancun.
That's very true.
Yeah. This is like PG-13 G rated.
True.
This is like Disney Channel, Cinemax almost. And he's probably seen worse. But yeah, I think, Damian again needs to like grab the reins on this Giannina girl, because she seems like the boss. Like anywhere she goes, if she gets some friction from other dudes, it's like, we're gonna have problems. Yeah. It's like, well,
she needs to really grow and heal.
Yeah, and then she's gonna complain to her girlfriends. Oh, he didn't do this. He didn't give me that. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
and that's not tolerable on any level. Like I've met women like that. I'm just like, all right, cool. We can be friends. Not anything more. It's not worth it.
Yep.
So
agree. And then next is Jessica and Mark. Speaking of Jessica.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so last time you mentioned that her voice was really different with Barnett.
Yeah.
And I noticed in the episode 3 that her voice was like that with Mark.
Yes.
And so to me, that is like such a almost like almost condescending, kind of trying to manipulate tactic. Yeah. And and then she said something about, oh, I'm rejected and now I have to go back to Mark. And I was like,
yes.
Ooh, you have to go back to Mark? Are you sure you don't want to why don't you just leave?
Yeah. No, she's competitive. But but I think we have to back up a little bit, because we have to talk about, so that whole dynamic was like eclipsed Barnett and Mark, and then like Amber and Jessica, and then there's LJ or Elsie. And so I really wish that Barnett would have picked Elsie.
I know, me too. Me too.
Dude, she's hot. She's like a girl, a woman you could bring to like the sports bar and to a wedding. You can't bring Jessica or Amber to the sports bar. They'd be like, what's going on? They'd be on their Instagram or Facebook or Twitter the whole time, and like I could see LC like being able to hold up a good like sports conversation, like between the Jets and the Packers or whatever,
Well, I think she just got a she could hold up a conversation at anything. I think she was just had a different maturity level than Jessica, who was even older than her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And so, so Mark was totally set on Jessica. Jessica was almost all into Mark. And then Barnett's date with Jessica, he was giving her signals that he wanted to, be more than friends or kind of like ask her to marry him. And so, so she got all giddy, of course. And this was after the fact that Mark and her hung out and Jessica hung out. And so Mark's thinking, oh, okay, I got this in the bag. This is mine. And then Barnett and Jessica had the conversation. It's like, I like you or whatever, to make Jessica think that Barnett's going to ask her, I guess, on a last final marriage date pod experience time or whatever.
Mhm.
And so then Jessica's like, oh, I got to get rid of Mark or something to that effect. I don't remember what she said. And then did Mark like find out that Barnett was also like hanging out?
She told him.
Or
Jessica did tell him. She said she
Okay,
was
okay.
talking. She said, I
That's
don't
right.
want to hurt you.
Yeah, and
She
they're
said,
like,
I don't want to hurt you, but I'm talking to Barnett and I think he
Yeah.
likes me too. And so I'm going to go over there.
right,
And
right.
then the next day it is him and Barnett's like, I don't think I think the same or feel the
Yeah.
same. And it's like, oh, burn.
But yeah, I think like he was thinking out loud too much. You know, like it's good to share your feelings, but it's like, well, I wouldn't say he was leading these girls on, because what LC told Barnett when he rejected her, he was like, that's screwed up. Wait, was it her? I think she said like, yeah, you're leading girls on. This is not what you're supposed to be doing, or something like that. Was that her?
was
or
Jessica.
That was Jessica. She called because she called him a you know what boy, and so
yes,
yeah. And
but
so
here's the thing: she also said you don't know what you want, and so you're trying to make everyone else confused or something like that. And I'm thinking, honey, you don't know what you want either.
Yes,
so leave your boy
exactly.
Barnett alone.
Yeah, and so I don't discredit Barnett, because he's like flipping around these three girls that are giving him likes and love, and like he's like, damn, what do I do? Like these girls are coming up from each angle, and he's like, I like you because of this, and this, and then the other girl, I like you because this, and this. So he's just naming off his likes, but I think he should have added, I still need to think about it. I have these other options that are like swishing around in my head, and so that's probably the only thing I would have added to tell Barnett. It's like, tell the other girls tell the other girls you are thinking about other people. It's just like you're shopping, or like you're shopping around for car insurance or something.
Right.
Like, that's a bad analogy. I don't mean to objectify women. But
shopping around for car insurance. No, I don't think so. But definitely shopping is a good one. But keeping your option open, right? Keeping your options open. And in that kind of environment, just like the Bachelorette type shows and stuff like that, you have to keep your options open because you have no idea.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being in that position. That would just be insane.
You could be a psycho like Carlton, like after they get out of the pod and go crazy and act all weird or shut down. And so but I just think Mark should have handled Jessica better. Like so they go back in the pod together, right? After he's thinking, okay, I got this girl in the bag, and Jessica's like, hold on. I don't think I'm liking Barnett, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh shit. So what would you tell Mark to do differently other than his reaction? Because I think his reaction was like beta. It was so I forget the term that I read this book, but it was not good. And it gave her all the reins of their little relationship. And I think I would have said like, all right, that's cool. I get it. I'm sure I'm not the only guy in the pod that you talk to. Marriage is for life. I know what I stand for. I know what I like. You know how I feel about you. That's fine. You go have as many dates as you can with Barnett, as with whoever, Andrew, whoever. Okay. I just know I'm confident enough to walk away for something, or to walk towards something that I know that I'm truly in love with. And but since you need more time to figure out, you do your thing. I'm gonna be over here, and that's it, right? And so,
well, it's interesting because he did say something to the effect of, "It's either me or I'm done." is basically what he said.
Yeah.
And again, I often think, what are the producers saying to them? Because, if everybody quit because they weren't matched up, then that would be a boring show, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So
Oh
if
yeah,
he was
definitely.
so if he was like, okay, well, maybe I'm done because I'm feeling her, but she's not feeling me. I don't know. I think somehow something switched, because then after that conversation, she comes back crying, telling her that she broke it off with Barnett
Yeah.
when she didn't break it off with Barnett, or
Of
Barnett
course.
picked somebody else, right?
Yeah.
And Mark's just sitting there like, that's when he could have been like, you know what? It's clearly you have feelings for her, for someone else, more than you have it for me, that you're
Yeah.
this upset. And that's when he could have chosen to say, I'm out. But instead, he like forgives her.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy to forgive because again, he was like head over heels for her, and
Yeah.
she could have said something that sounded right, and then he was back on,
Right. Right.
And so it's like, dude, like you're making it way too easy.
Yeah.
And he should have made her work for it, if
Well,
or
and
not at all.
Yeah, but they don't have that kind of time, so maybe that was part of it too. They don't have that time in the pods.
Yeah. And I would have, like Barnett, I would have kept my options open, to be honest. It's like,
true.
it's like, yeah, you feel something, but it's like, is it love or is it lust? That type
Exactly.
thing. Do you love her or do you lust for her? And it's like, dude, you need to like see other women and get to know them. And shoot, I think, to be honest, Kelly would have been good with Mark. To like, now that I think about it.
Oh,
what do you think?
Totally. Yes. Totally.
What do you think? Or
yeah, I totally agree. Now, here's something I want to point out. When Mark and Jessica met, so they meet. He proposed. They meet, and they're hugging and embracing and kissing. Her arms are literally like this the whole time. She, I think, once put her arms around him. But other than that, her arms were literally like this the whole time. And he's hugging her. And all I kept thinking is, hello, there's some more red flags.
Yeah.
Her body language is saying no.
Yeah. And even she kept on bringing up the age thing.
Yes.
And I don't know in front of him, but like even like during the interview before, it was just like, oh, dude, like at this point, if you haven't gotten over it, you shouldn't be in this relationship.
Exactly.
And so, I don't know, like, could I date, or, well, I could definitely see myself. Well, I've stopped dating 20-year-old somethings. Like, that's just not happening.
Yeah, I could date a 20-something-year-old. No.
But if it's a woman that's like 24 and I was 34, and if it was like set up to be like, okay, this is a marriage situation, yes, but then I gotta like make sure she's mature, make sure,
right, totally.
all these filters, because my last 2 or 3 were 20-something-year-olds, so I'm like, I'm done. but I can't just shut them down, because it's like, okay, well, what if I have a mature person that seems, that's like very mature, but it's only like 25 to 28, 29, whatever. I can't just not let that go. Like, and when I was younger, I had a very mature mind. I still have a mature mind, but I don't know. That's just if you're not over the age dynamic, you got to say no.
You're never going to get right, because you're never going to get over
to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and
I think 10 years is actually, depending on the age and depending on the person. I mean, 20s, I'm not into 20-year-olds, but 10 years younger than me right now, sure, why not? 10 years older than me, depends on the person, right?
Say that again. You cut
10
out.
years. So 10 years younger, yeah, absolutely. 10 years older, depends on the person, because I'm young at heart. So if they're young at heart, then great. And the 10 years younger, if they're, old at heart too, kind of have a maturity level type of thing.
Yeah.
at this stage of my life. But I think if she's still talking about it, it's like, then how are you going to accept his proposal?
Yeah.
Because you're always going to think about that. Like, well, it's because you're 24. Oh, it's because you're. And she, in my mind, the things that she said, it was almost like she was desperate because she was like, my time is running out in order to have children.
No, I definitely agree. She's very competitive on that show. And so, for the wrong reasons, wrong reasons.
Totally.
So,
and yeah, because then she goes and confronts Amber and was like, oh, he's a player. I wouldn't date him, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Oy.
Oh, that's right. So after she got dumped,
right?
Man, this this pisses me off. So I'm just like, that stupid voice of hers that she does.
Exactly.
And then she complains to Amber, oh, he's an F boy. He's, a player. He doesn't know this and that. And Amber's just like, whoa, I think you took his words way too seriously. I think she said, maybe he said some things that was off the cuff, funny, and but wasn't meaning half the meaning that she was taking it to, right?
Right.
And so, like, to Amber's credit, I thought that it was great of her to like identify that.
Yes. Because what he said was something to the effect of, I could see us being married. And she took it as, boom, he's gonna propose to me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Which is very common. People look at the potential of who they are instead of the reality of who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like when Barnett dumped Jessica, like she just flipped the switch. Mm-hmm. She was so rude. She was this and that. And his face was like, this is not what I wanted. Exactly not what I wanted to happen. Reactions. It didn't look good on Jessica's part. I mean, I think every guy watching that in their dating future, I don't know if she's still single or whatever, but like, it did not look good. It's like, you need to bow out. Like, okay, cool. Like professionally.
Right.
Like, thank you for taking the time. I understand. This is what, we got to do, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But like for her to like do that and then like talk shit about Barnett, complain, and then turn around like Mark again. And then he's like back on. And then he's like, baby this, baby that. And then she like, as soon as she says baby to him, he's all systems go. Like, It's just like, oh my God, dude. Like, you are falling for every woman trap out there. Like, you're acting like what every guy should not act.
Bless his heart. He's 24.
every like self-help book that I've read in dating, like talk shit about this guy. And it's like, and he's a nice guy. He's too much of a nice guy.
I mean, good for him that he's a nice guy. And, I was thinking about it actually later on, like he's so nice that, women will probably end up manipulating him. Like the girls who are so nice, they get manipulated by the douchebags. Right.
Right. So, yeah. And man, it's crazy. So then he's like back on and he's like, great, this is going to happen. Will you marry me? And she's like, of course, blah, blah, blah. Makes it sound like she wanted him all the time. And then I'm just like, all right, here we go. We're going on a ride, like head trip ride. And then so Barnett breaks it off with LC, which is a mistake. And so then LC's like upset, of course. But I thought she
didn't go back and say anything. She didn't go back and say, hey, Amber, you shouldn't be with him. She didn't say any of that.
Why are you trying to ruin someone else's experience? Like, that's just being a sore loser. Like, that's just, man, it's just being a big sore loser. But she was just like, she was upset. She showed her emotion, but then she moved on. Kudos to her. And then Barnett and Amber, it was just like.
Which, by the way, I'm just going to plug. I'm just going to plug this here. LC should be the next Bachelorette because she is a catch.
What's that?
Just saying.
Go ahead, repeat that.
LC needs to be the next Bachelorette because she's such a catch. So just saying, putting a plug out there for her.
Yeah, LC. And if you're listening, if you're watching,
you can contact Mondo.
Contact me. I'll set us up on a first date. I mean, I'll give you info on our you can come on my podcast YouTube channel. I only do in-person interviews. And we have to go out to dinner and drinks. And no, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not kidding. If you respond to this, I will not kick you out.
Love it.
But I like you. You're hot. But anyways, so then Amber, but what's his name? Barnett was like, oh my God, you scare me, Amber, but I'm totally in love with you. Like something about Amber he's afraid of. Other than like she was a naval or army tank mechanic. Like she knows how to like work on tanks and shoot guns. But I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like don't make it. I guess you're just trying to be like cute funny, I guess. But
yeah, so I was thinking about that too. Like, okay, so if he said it multiple times, she scares me. She scares me. She scares me. I'm thinking, well, if she scares you, what is it about her that scares you? Yeah. Is it the fact that she's equal to you and can hold the conversation? And he's not used to that because he's used to people like Jessica who are just like flaky, for lack of a better word, or, you know, doing whatever you say, because that's literally what she did to him.
Right.
Or what? I don't know. It was an interesting dynamic that he kept saying, she scares me. And I'm like, well, what about that is scary? Because she's she's gorgeous and can hold her own. She's intelligent. So I thought that was interesting that he kept saying that about her. Yeah,
I didn't feel her as much as I did LC, but
I'm with you. I thought LC was a better match for him, but I do like Amber. I didn't like her in the very beginning, and then I was like, okay, she warmed up to me. Yeah. And I think it's because she just was real. Even though she was, you know, she was very real. Of I am confident and this is who I am, and take it or leave it.
Yeah. What do you think Barnett liked most about Amber?
That I think that he liked that she was flirty and real. I think Elsie wasn't as flirty probably with him, and he's probably used to that. If he was a player in his past life, then he's probably used to women throwing themselves at him. So he kind of likes that little bit of a mix of flirty, you know, type of women.
Yeah, I do remember her or him saying like some sexual innuendos in a funny way, kind of like what he said to Diamond. Oh, that's a stripper's name, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Like he said a lot of that to Amber, and she was like eating it up and then throwing it back out there. Right. Like, and I do remember that like conversation, and he made her laugh and giggle about some funny, stupid shit. And then I think he ate that up. And like you said, like, I think that's what he liked that about her, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I don't think he had that with LC. I think LC, it was just a more of a serious kind of relationship type of thing. Yeah. But so I think his personality is more sarcastic, and then Amber's very sarcastic as well. So I think the two actually kind of mend well together, mix well together.
Yeah, maybe LC just needed some priming, like to warm up a little bit. You know, I'm sure she can joke around and like.
I'm sure she can too.
Yeah. So awesome. So then they get married, Barnett and Amber. The third episode, they share a hotel, and I guess they do it a bunch of times. It's just like you know what fest, the third episode, except for Kelly, and then except for Mark and Jessica. I keep forgetting Kenneth. Is it Kenny?
Yeah. Kenny. Kelly
and Kelly. And then Mark and Jessica, they don't get intimate because she's like, I don't know about this, which is fine, you know. And he's just like, whatever you want, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, my emotions don't matter. It's all about you type talk. More of that stuff. And I'm just like, dude, you're being a beta male. It's like, all right, you know, it's crazy. And then let's see what else we got. What else?
I think that's it. That's it.
Yeah, because they cut off everybody else. And then
and I didn't get to the last half hour of it, so I kind of know. I remember when I watched it before.
Yeah.
Kenny and Kelly, she was like, no, we're going to wait. We're going to
Oh,
wait.
yeah.
We're going to wait. And we're going to wait. I think like
I'm
every episode, she's like, we're going to wait.
I'm conservative. I'm still gonna keep wearing these stripper clothes. It's like, oh,
But we're going to wait.
we're gonna wait.
We're going to snuggle up to each other
We're gonna spoon in bed
and kiss
and
constantly, but we're going to wait.
yeah. So I don't know. I mean, what red flags would Kenny see out of Kelly other than that? But I don't want to say like that, sex shouldn't be the whole drive of being in a relationship, and it's not. But like, I'm trying to like dig some red flags from her other than it seemed like she put on like this, like, I like you mentality to Kenny, and Kenny was vibing it. But
yeah, so yeah, that's what I would think would be a red flag. In fact, I think I'm old fashioned too. You mentioned you're old fashioned. I love the fact that she said, I want to wait.
yeah.
Good for her. But I think she was almost, there was just a disingenuine, not being authentic, something about her. And yet Kenny was doing the same thing. Unless Kenny is just that, like we said before, that aloof kind of a introvert kind of a guy.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think it boils down to telling each other what you're needing, and I don't think, well, and again, who knows what they really said, and we got cut out of editing, but it didn't seem like they were connecting again on a deeper level. It was just pretty surface. So I think that would have been a red flag for both of them, to be honest. I think also the fact that it was almost like she had a wall built around her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was like emotionally unavailable. Yeah.
Yep. Story of my life. No, just kidding. But
well, you attract who you are, so
how about that?
Wait, this isn't counseling for you. This is, or coaching for you. This is that's another show.
Yeah, that's like a 3-hour plus companion episode. But
I think that's it.
That is it. And so we have episode 4 and 5 next week, next Sunday. I probably will be back in town, or still in town, because everything shut down. And so we'll definitely get at it. 4 and 5 next Sunday at 7 p.m. and hopefully no more tropical storms will hit, and and all that. So awesome. Any last thoughts?
I was going to ask concerns? You, what was your red flags with Kenny, and what would you have said?
I probably would ask her like her goals and stuff, and I'd probably dig into like, they probably talked about children and stuff like that. Like I said, I like kind of dozed off. I didn't really find it interesting, but like, but I probably would ask her, like, if I was like in the pod with her, like, hey, what are some of your goals, like your life goals, your, family, career. I don't like women that are like complacent just because they're at one type of stage of their life and like, okay, I made it. I'm not gonna like strive to be doing anything else, or like maybe you can do something lateral. Not, if you don't want to go up, you can go, just have your hands in different interests,
Agreed.
And so that's what I took from her. I was just like, she's kind of boring, but like, what else is about her that I could get interested? Like, if you could wake up anywhere in the world, where would it be? What 7 things would you want to Belize? Yeah, Belize. Beautiful. Mine would be New Zealand or Bora Bora at the same time. So yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I would probably pick her brain on that, and like what what was the last book she read? What, I don't know. It's just like, what she's into, and she seems more of like a spiritual type person, like a healer type persona. I don't know if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
I didn't get
Yeah.
that vibe from her, but okay.
Like it's more like I'm a healer.
Mm.
I'm this, I'm that. It's just like I got a little bit of that, like that vibe.
Mm.
But maybe that's good. Maybe that's good to like talk around and talk about like your emotions and your feelings and stuff.
I didn't get that vibe from her. I'm around a lot of healers, and I didn't get that vibe from her at all.
Oh, okay. Never
The
mind then.
only no, and I'm not discounting, and I could see why you would say that, but
Yeah.
I think to me, it's like again, there was something holding her back. That, and maybe it was Kenny. Maybe she didn't feel like she could be her whole self around Kenny.
Yeah.
Too.
I
I
think
don't know.
we needed more from Kenny, to be honest.
Yeah.
He needed to step up a little bit. So maybe
Something.
he will in 4 and 5. So
I guess we'll find out.
cool. Anything
stay
else?
tuned. Have a wonderful week.
Good. Thanks again for hanging out, Shay, on the TV Companion. Love is Blind, episode 2 and 3. All right. Well, we're going to end this broadcast, and we'll be back next week. You have a good start of your week tomorrow. Oh, yeah. I just joined a brokerage in the real estate industry.
Ooh, congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. It's, oh my gosh. I've been like interviewing with so many real estate brokers, companies this past March since I got licensed, since this like pandemic hit. So I got licensed in March. Then literally a week after, Texas shut down, and like all the offices that I know of were closed. Thank gosh I got it, like everything pushed through before that. Got my license in March. So I've been like kind of like interviewing with brokers and trying to like figure out where I'm going to go and like not waste my time and money. And so finally I picked one, and I will do a probably a little show about it, presenting my new brokerage name and where I'll be selling homes or doing apartment leases, all that good stuff. So also stay tuned for that.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. Have a good start of your week. And if you want to stay on for a little bit after I end this program, that'd be great. And you guys have a great Sunday fun day. Go to bed, sleep, get up early tomorrow morning, do your work. All right, take care, guys. Adios.
Bye, guys.